Hello, I am D-Man, and today I'll be ranking all of the Loud House seasons, uh, from season 1 to season 9. You might be surprised there's that many seasons. You also might be surprised. Yeah, there's more seasons. I can't rank them because they're not finished. So, season 10 is like halfway done. Season 11 has like one episode. I can't really rank a season that's not finished, so that's why they're not here. Um, we all know how a tier list works. S means it's the best. F means it really, really sucks. Yeah, let's get right into this with season 1 of The Loud House here. Uh, these episodes, this is very much the Lincoln Loud show. All the episodes pretty much have a major focus on Lincoln. Um, of course, being the first season, you can imagine like they're trying to like find their like groove a little bit. But overall, the season is very solid. Right off the bat, you get a good idea of what these characters are about. Um, some of them change over time. I'd say Laurie's the biggest example. Laurie gets, I guess, a lot less authoritarian over time. But yeah, all these episodes very much, are about Lincoln. Um, very much also about like the house. A lot of the episodes take place in the house, believe it or not, because it's called the Lad House. Um, and of course, it's not only that. There are some episodes where Lincoln Loud Girl Guru is one at school. There's a couple episodes here where it's like it's Lincoln and Clyde. Um, and the sisters aren't really involved that much, but most of these episodes, it's Lincoln. Typically, versus his 10 sisters. They seem to have like a united front almost. Um, My personal favorite out of this lot is probably I would either go for I really like not intense debate, although that is a good one. Space Invader or Ties That Bind are probably my some of my favorite, I'd say. And yeah, I think what the season does well is it is just it's good at being a nice slice of life when it's just charming and all that kind of good stuff. And so for that, I have to rank it pretty high. It isn't my favorite season, but I would give season 1 an A tier. It's just a good show at this point in time. And for some people, it's the only good season, but I do not agree with that. Alright, now we move on to season 2. A few things happen in season 2. The first is we get to see the parent's face. You never actually see their full face in season 1. You sort of see like bits and pieces of it, but um, in 11 Lands of Leaping, you get to see their face at the end of the episode. This is the first season to have these big 22-minute specials, 11 Lands of Leaping, but also, where is it? Lattice Mission, Relative Chaos is another special as well. And let's just say that the specials in the season are pretty good. I mean, 11 Lands of Leaping is probably one of the best episodes in the show. So, I mean, season 2 starts off on a real good note. Um, there starts to be more episodes that don't explicitly focus on Lincoln as much. He sort of takes a little bit more of a backseat. He's still definitely the main character here for sure, but overall, he's not quite as main as in season 1. There are some episodes I feel like spell it out. It's very much like it's an episode pretty much all about Lucy. Lincoln's in it, but he's not really a focus at all. Um, of course, you have the stuff with Bobby and Ronnie Ann. Season 1 I didn't really mention them too much, but um, Ronnie Ann is sort of portrayed as a sort of a love interest for Lincoln. It's a bit iffy, but and then Bobby is Laurie's boyfriend. In this special, so halfway through season 2, they basically moved away. They move away from the town, Royal Woods, and they go somewhere else. And they have their own spin-off show and everything, which is fine, but I don't know. It's an ambitious choice. I'll give it that, but I'm not sure how I like feel about it in the long run. Of course, there's also Ella's for Love, which is a pretty important episode as well, because in this you get the introduction of the relationship between Luna and Sam, and to a lesser extent, Luann and Benny. So this episode, like, as kind of lays the groundwork for two of the major, I guess, relationships in the show. Now, of course, season two, and I will say, season two is just again another very like solid season. Most of these episodes are, I like them. My favorite would probably be 11 Lands of Leaping, but I do have to mention an episode or two here, um, because obviously this is the season with the most infamous episode of the show, No Such Luck. It also has probably the second most infamous episode of the show, Brawl in the Family, and then Making the Grade, I've also heard a lot of bad things about. And they're all like, yes, they're all in like early season two. Um, they're fine. I gotta be honest, like, No Such Luck is a completely fine episode. It's a little weak for season two, but it's fine. I don't I would say it's decent. Making the Grade was alright, I suppose. And Brawl in the Family, I didn't love Brawl in the Family. Um, but I will say I do like how petty the argument is between Lenny and Laurie in that episode. It's so petty, but it's like, you know what? Sometimes people are just like that. They just fight over the stupidest things, it's like, you know what? Fair enough. Um, yeah, I mean, the main thing is you get more of the secondary characters as well. See, there's episodes with Flip and Lincoln's granddad Albert. Um, and yeah, it's a overall it's a good season. I would say personally it's a little better than season one, but honestly, a little better. They're very similar in quality to me, so I mean A tier. All right, let's move on to season three. Season three. Well, I guess there's one thing that changes at this point, and that is the creator of the show has been fired for uh not being a very good person. We'll just say it, leave it at that. And so this season does start a bit of a shift. There are some episodes here that just aren't about Lincoln at all. Like I don't think Phantom Pains. I don't even know if Lincoln's even in that episode at this point. So we start to get more of these episodes where Lincoln isn't the focus. He's still probably the main character overall in the show, but it's a lot more sort of even between him and all the sisters. You get episodes, you know, you sort of get episodes with, you start to get episodes with the other friend groups, so like Lucy and the Morticians Club and stuff like that. Yeah, you start to get a little bit of that in here. Um, Really Loud Music is really good. I just I just saw that, but I do really like this season. It's probably my favorite of the show. It has a nice balance of sort of the early seasons with some of the later stuff. Like you do really get to see some of the other characters, or I guess the other sisters more specifically. I mean, not every episode here is a winner, but most of them are. We are Yes, that's right. We were also introduced to Stella Zoo, and at this point, Lincoln's friend group is really established. At this point, there's a bit of it in season two, but season three is where it's like, okay, Lincoln's friend group is here and it's here to stay. And um, this episode, Be Stella My Heart, is an episode where Stella essentially ends up joining this friend group. Uh, as for my favorite episode of the season, I actually don't. Oh, duh! I was like, I don't actually know. It's really loud music. Obviously, that's just a really good special. Um, if it wasn't a special, I mean, I do like the Bath one, Pipe Dreams. I do like that one a lot. Actually, that's a fun one, and Phantom Pains is good too. I mean, I don't know what to say. These are just all very solid episodes. Um, Overall, there's not really too much else to say. Uh, and yeah, as such, I mean, I think it is my favorite season, so it gets an A tier. Um, which means yeah, nothing's going in S. And the reason why I'm not putting this in S is because yes, season three is my favorite, but it's still very similar in quality to the first. Like these first three seasons are all very similar in quality, and I would say like I would recommend the first three seasons at the very least. Um, After that, I mean, we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, I guess season four. Um, Season four, there's immediately something I have to mention, and that is there is a giant Casa Grande chunk in this season. I guess not giant, but there's 9 episodes dedicated to the Casa Grandes, and I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know whether to count it as part of season four. I mean, technically, yes, and for that sake, I am counting these episodes, but this is more like season like 0 of the Casa Grandes. This isn't the Loud House. You don't see any of the characters from the Loud House in here. It's all the Casa Grandes. Um, I guess I'll briefly talk about the Casa Grandes. These episodes are fine. They are fine. They're just fine. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're just kind of decent. Um, yeah, Sid's pretty good. I did like Sid. And I do like Ronnie Ann, so it wasn't like I had an alright time with it. As for the actual the rest of season four, there's definitely a shift in this one, where things start to get. I guess the plots start to get a little bit more unrealistic. There's a little bit more zaniness. I mean, Tales of Woe, there's like a mutant rat, or I don't know if it's a mutant rat, but it's like a rat with 2 tails. And then an episode like Washed Up, they all get like deserted on an island. The concepts start to get a little bit more ridiculous. Not that like season three didn't have ridiculous stuff. I mean, there's an episode where Lisa literally time travels at the end of the episode, but just the overall vibe, this season feels a little less realistic. I will say I definitely prefer the second half of season four, pretty much from like a Pimple Plan onwards. Yes, now we're getting some good stuff. I, I like Kings of the Calm. It's probably the weakest special so far in the first 4 seasons, but it's fine. Exchange of Heart. I also am gonna. That episode was okay, but I mean, I like Community Disservice. I like Deep Cuts. I like Game Off. Like, there's just a bunch in a row here, which are just like, yes, I like these episodes. Um, I suppose I should mention at this point because, yes, Clyde is a character. Clyde's crush on Laurie in the first like 2, 3 seasons is basically dead by season four, and while it's probably a good thing that Clyde no longer has that crush because it's a bit weird, does make him a little less interesting. I know why they dropped it because if Clyde still had a crush on Laurie like 9 seasons later, the joke would have gotten so stale. So I'm glad they stopped it, but I feel like they needed something else to like, if you take something away, you got to put something in, and they didn't. So Clyde isn't kind of gets a little less interesting. Um, yeah, overall the episodes in the season are not quite as strong. I think they're solid. There's some solid stuff, but there are more episodes in here where I'm like, eh, they're just fine. Like I mean, I like any given. That's a good Lily episode actually. I liked Leader of the Wreck, and then yeah, most of these I liked quite a bit. Um, Tough Cookies is whatever. Um, yeah, but it's kind of at this point, it's just kind of like, yeah, most of these are pretty good. There's nothing great. I mean, there's maybe like one or two great episodes in here, but most of these episodes are just good, which still means I like the season overall. Like, it's still pretty good. But it is, to me, it does feel like a bit of a step down from the first three seasons, so I have to put it in B personally. Alright, and now we move on to season 5. Um, this is a some pretty huge changes happen in school right here. This is a 45-minute long episode. This is a huge episode, and it does a lot. First of all the characters have aged up a year. Lincoln, who was is now in middle school. He's now in middle school. Lily goes to preschool. Laurie leaves the Loud House and goes to the Great Lake Cities for college, sort of where the Casa Grandes are. It's the same like city but different area. So Laurie's essentially not really in the show too much as much anymore, which I don't love. I liked it more when Laurie was there, you know. Um, and yeah, this basically just says everything's changing. We're changing everything, and the tone of the show definitely changes as well, since especially these first couple episodes, some very like kind of silly concepts. For example, family bonding, where the neighbors are like actual spies. Something to do with mandarins. I kind of forgotten a little bit, but there's definitely like mandarins or mangoes or something involved. Ghosted. They have to like the episode description is banishing a ghost. There's ghosts now. Um, Flip is not a human, but some weird abomination of mankind. Um, and so the episodes just get kind of a little bit ridiculous, but only at the start of the season. It sort of kind of tones it back down a little bit afterwards. But honestly, the rest of the show has every once in a while there'll just be an episode where it's like, what are we? It's like there's ghosts and there's all this something else that's crazy. And while those episodes aren't necessarily bad, it's not really what the show was about. It's something different. Um, as for the episodes themselves, most of these are very mediocre. I'm looking through them like, man, most of these I don't really want to watch again. There are definitely some good ones in here, but there's a lot of episodes in a row. I'm just like, I just don't care. Um, Fam scammed in the mick of, oh, there's like three in a row. That's all right. Okay. Camp was a decent special. School, I did not mention. I did not like School. It's it's probably it's definitely one of my least favorite, and it being 45 minutes does not help it. By the way, because they definitely could have cut this episode in half. Because there's a lot of filler. Um, yeah, there are some episodes that I like in here. I do like Strife for the Party. I do like Seasons Cheating's probably my favorite. If not, Undercover Mom, Election, Science of Lands, they're pretty good. But most of these episodes are just kind of mediocre. I don't love these episodes. Rumor has it is actually an okay episode with Lincoln's friends. Um, which if you sort of look through these episodes, there's a lot of episodes about Lincoln and his friends. Um, his friends are fine. They're sometimes all right. They're not terrible, but they can't really do an episode on their own, right? As together as a friend group, it's not, every once in a while, sure, it's fine. They can do good stuff. I think Rumor Has It is a good example of that. But most of these just do not interest me very much. Um, and so yeah, this season overall is just kind of it's just very mediocre. Um, and I think I will go ahead and I think this is my least favorite season of the show. I do think it gets better from here, but I think I'm gonna be harsh because I've definitely got a season, at least one season's gonna go in C. So I'm actually gonna put this in high D. Um, I mean, I appreciate the ambition of like doing all this stuff, but I feel like most of the changes were not for the better. Um, and I feel like this is also the point where a lot of people just stop watching the show altogether because I'll be honest, even when I was watching it, I'm like, man, this is a little rough. Like it's not like garbage, but it's just like, just kind of a whole lot of nothing, you know? Like, but I pressed on because I heard that the later seasons get better. And speaking of better, we have season 6, which, kind of feels it's kind of season 5 part 2 a little bit. um Still there's a bunch of really like goofy episodes in here, but the season as a whole is better. I think I like there's just more. I'm gonna look through, there's just more episodes I think I like. um Mostly I think because they don't go quite as hard on Lincoln's friends. There's a lot of the episodes at this point will focus on like one of the sisters and either their friend group or just themselves and like another sister or two doing something. But there's a lot of episodes that are just kind of like that. So like Space Jam, it's a ridiculous concept. Like Lisa's in like fucking space, but it's an episode. It's a Lisa and Lenny episode. It's an alright episode, but it's not. Weirdly, I feel like some of the chaos in the first few seasons is kind of is like the Loud House does not feel as chaotic at this point. Which I also think was part of the appeal of those seasons. But overall, I mean, I do like these episodes more. There's more episodes here that are just kind of decent stories. You're not, you are seeing a nice variety of characters at least, and it helps that I happen to like most of the characters. So most of the time, I'm not, I'm like, okay, we have this food courting episode. All right, Lenny has a new boyfriend. Okay, that's cool. Like Buns and Buns. Hey, Luann and Benny. It's nice that they get an episode. They barely get episodes like together. Um, the specials here, what we got? Time Trap and Save Royal Woods. They are better. I do well. Time Traps, I like it, but it's kind of ridiculous. Same with Save Royal Woods. I like it, but uh, it is a bit like, yeah, it's some lady wants to make a sixth Great Lake, and so she's like, I'm gonna just flood your fucking town because it's boring. Um, Talk about if you want it, man. If you want a cheesy episode, ooh, this one's a. I didn't mind the cheese, but I felt it. My favorite episode, if I just had to look and just be like, what is my favorite episode here? I like So Far So Good. Driver's Dread's a good one. Lenny gets her driver's license. It seems like is Lenny just getting all the good episodes? That is kind of yeah. She got some good episodes this season, but yeah, most of these episodes are just they're fine. I like them. I like them. Most of these are like most of these seem decent. I don't love most of these, but I like them all. They're all decent. Um, it's not as good as season 4. Um, but it is better than season 5. So I do think it is a step up. So it's C tier, which means we can move on to season 7. And the first thing to mention is there's less episodes. There's only 20 episodes, or I guess 20 episodes, 38 segments. I'm gonna count the segment as the episode, so I guess there's about 16 less episodes, something like that. So there are less episodes in the season, partly because of the No Time to Spy movie, which I'm not going to talk about. The season does another thing that's different. There's this road trip thing. So there's a bunch of episodes here about what is this, 7 episodes where the Ladd family go on a road trip, and hey, what did I like about the Loud House? The Loud family, right? Yeah, and this is just 7 episodes of the Loud family. So that's pretty good, and most of these episodes are pretty good, actually. I like most of these episodes. My favorite is probably either the Doll Day one or Screen Queen. Um, like this road trip thing was good because you get to see the characters I sort of wanted to see, and it's more of an ensemble as it's an ensemble. Some of these have a bit more focus, like obviously the Screen Queen one. I wonder who the focus of this episode is, but a lot more of an ensemble, which is I don't mind that. It also feels like I don't know. This season just seems all right. Like most of the episodes here are just they're pretty decent. I guess the problem is there's nothing great. That's kind of the main thing at this point. Like there's just some. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. "'Twas the Fight Before Christmas." That actually is probably my favorite. That one, that's a good episode. It's a good Christmas special. It's a not as good as the one in season 2, but a pretty solid second Christmas special. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. You get to see Lincoln's cousins and his uncle and that, so that's pretty cool. And the later seasons do you see his dad and his brother Lance. They sort of have some episodes. Yeah, I mean, the episodes here just kind of most of the episodes are decent, but there's just more episodes here that I'm like, I could see myself going, you know what, I like these. These are just a bunch of nice episodes with a couple of caveats. And I actually would say that the "'Twas the Fight Before Christmas" is great. It's not amazing, but it is certainly very solid for this point in the show. It is better, undoubtedly, than maybe not undoubtedly, but it is a step up from season 6. Still has some of the same problems as again this later half of the show. Sort of the problems are still there, but they just seem less. I don't know if they bothered. I don't know if they started bothering me less, or the episodes got better, or both. But season 7 is a step up from season 6. And now we get to the second last season I'm going to be doing, season 8. And now we really cut down, so we went from those 38 segments to 22. So the seasons are basically half the length that they used to be. So yeah, that's the whole season. There's 22 segments because some of these are specials. We have another road trip. It's the Europe road trip. It's 5 episodes, not 7. Um, it's not as good as the other road trip one. Mostly Greece is the word. I didn't like Greece is the word. I mean, the description of the episode kind of speaks for itself. I mean, Lincoln puts on a soldier's helmet, which sends him back to ancient Greece. Motherfucker gets sent back to ancient Greece. What? That's not. You'd think they'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool, but what the fuck does this have to do with the Loud House at this point? It's just too disconnected for my liking. You do get this episode where Lynn and Henrix is a thing, kind of like they both like each other, but they're not super committed. I mean, it doesn't help that Henrik's in fucking Switzerland. Kind of hard to date someone, on a different continent, but it can be done. Um, Also, yes, another thing, Laurie returns, um, sort of to the house. She doesn't move into the house completely, but she takes a gap year and she essentially moves in to the next door neighbor, Mr. Grouse, who is a pretty good character to be honest. She moves in his garage, and that is good because that means Laurie can just be in the episodes more, and it's just nice to have yeah, they have some episodes where they like do stuff with Laurie in this new area. Don't know if it's in this season or in the next season, but I think it's the next season. But they start to do more with that concept. Yes, there's still a little bit of goofy stuff. I mean, But overall, the season is just very solid. And for me, honestly, the hardest question was, is this better than season 4? I really don't know. Season four's episodes, when they're good, are better. I think these episodes are just, but these episodes are just kind of more solid overall. These episodes, there's more episodes here that are just kind of like, this is good. Season 4 definitely has more duds. I'll say that right off the bat. There is also a pretty big chunk of the season here, another 45-minute episode, Close Encounters of the Nerd Kind. It is ridiculous. It's fucking aliens, but I did like it at least. It wasn't terrible. It was decent. I felt the slower pace did actually kind of work for it, but it again very fucking silly concept. But it kind of it's not the worst thing ever. It's like at this point, fuck it. Um, and yeah, I mean, the episodes here do just they're solid. That's right. We also a lot happens in season 8. It turns out. Lincoln's friend group, haven't talked about them for a while. Um, Kara is a new member, the seventh member, the second female member as well. Kara is kind of like Ronnie Ann, but not. That's kind of, I feel like, the best way to describe Kara. I do like her quite a bit. Um, Probably like her more than Stella, but um, a bit weird. Yeah, I think for now I don't quite like this as much as season 4. I think those highs in season 4 are better here than because there's nothing. I mean, what's the best episode here? It is. I don't know. These are just kind of all good, but there's nothing amazing. Is Homeward Bound maybe Homeward Bound's my favorite? It might be either that or like Incognito or Alpining Away. A very solid season, but probably just a little below season 4. Which I mean, yeah, we were a bit of a rough patch for season 5, but the seasons are slowly getting better. And well, the final season to review is not season 10, but season 9. Again, it's half the length of the first few seasons, same length as season 8. Um, Kind of feels like season 8 part 2. There's not really many specials except this one at the very end, which is part of summer camp, which then actually goes into season 10, which I did watch these episodes, but they're not part of season 9, so I don't have to consider them. But I do have to consider the special, which was just fine. It was okay. Um, this season though is just it's just very solid. I mean, the Walking Dead. If there's one episode that I'm like, if you liked the first season of the show and you want to watch an episode from the newer seasons, The Walking Dead is the one I'd say give that one a try because it feels very much like season 1. It will feel a little different, but that's my favorite of the season for sure. Most of these I really like. I mean, think about like, remember in season 5, Lincoln and his friend group takes up a bunch of episodes. How many episodes do they take now? Well, there's definitely a few in here. What is it? One, two, three. Is it? I think it's four. 4 out of 25. Like most of them aren't really. Most of them are about the sisters. We have one with Luna and Luann. Crazy. You'd think they would have had an episode by now. They do now. Most of these are just very solid episodes. Kind of almost reminds me of like season 3 a little bit. It's definitely not as good as season 3, but it has a thing where like it focuses on one of the sisters, or like one or two of them, and it's just good. These episodes are just I like my the weakest one for me is probably Kangaroos, That was just kind of boring. Um, most of these are just. I just really like these episodes. These are just a good batch of episodes. There's not many of them, but I like pretty much all of these. Which and I would even say there is like I would say The Walking Dead is actually a great episode, which we haven't seen in a while. Is anything else great? Riot's Retreat was good. I did like Sick as a Dad quite a bit. I liked that one a surprising amount. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying my high praises. It's not as good as the first three. It still has those flaws every once in a while. I think that kangaroos episode's like is a good example of it. But honestly, it's better than season four because season four's got them duds, and season nine doesn't really have that many. Which yeah, I mean, I was a bit surprised that I guess I wasn't super surprised because the seasons were gradually getting better again, but season nine being like the part of the top four was not expecting. Yeah, and that is my ranking of the seasons. I mean, what's season 10 like so far? Well, as of this video, I've only watched the rest of the summer camp episodes. They are uh let's go through this one by one. The Great Outdoors was good. Don't Lose Your Cool was probably my favorite. Zombified fucking pirate captain, stupid. It was okay. Uh, Brawl of the Wild, it was like Lenny gets another boyfriend. Um, how many boyfriends has Lenny gone through at this point? River's fine so far. And these are kind of good. Probably not as good as season 9 so far, but uh, yeah, that is my ranking of all the Loud House seasons. If you liked this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.